This is a digital lesson on transformations. This is the Easter version. So it covers reflection, translation, dilation, and rotation around the origin. It starts with a definition of what transformation means. It means a change. In mathematics, it means to move a figure around the coordinate plane. So slide 3 has the 4 transformations they're going to be seeing in this lesson. They can refer back to slide 3 if they need to. They will also need to know these definitions for the final slide. So they're going to start with reflection. And this is a lot of fun for the students. They're going to use the fill color feature of Google Slides to show a reflection, this time across the y-axis. So in order to do that, they just click and hold, and they scroll across until they've highlighted the squares they want to color in. And they can only color in just a rectangle at a time. So this one would be 3 steps in order to show a reflection. So it's a mirror image across a line. The next one is a T shape, so they're going to reflect this first across the y-axis. And again, click and hold until they highlight in what they want. They can use any color they want. Some students get creative, they use multiple colors. And there they have a reflection across the y-axis. It's a mirror image. Now the next one is the same shape. This time they're going to reflect across the x-axis. So they're just going to be flipping that up. So click and hold. And only 2 steps on this one. So same figure, but this time reflected across the x-axis. So they've got a few more. This figure is reflected across the line x equals 1. So it's going to be equal distance from the line, but a mirror image. Then they're going to reflect across the line y equals -1. And then they're going to be shown how to reflect when part of that figure is already across the line. So you see these 2 points. This is like a hinge. So they're just going to flip this figure up, and this is what it's going to look like. So these 2 points are just going to stay there, and you just flip it up as if it were a hinge. They're going to do this on their own on the next slide. Then they're going to move on to translation. So translation means that it's going to move, a figure is going to move up, down, left, or right, but it doesn't change its orientation. So all they're going to do on this figure is translate it 6 units to the right. So they just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can highlight in the whole thing on this one. And there they have a translation. So that one's pretty easy. Next one, they're going to show the translation by moving 4 units to the left and then 2 units down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 2 units down. So they're going to go down 1, 2. So they're actually going to be highlighting this. This one will change back to transparent. And so this is fun for the students. They enjoy doing this. Might take a little bit of practice for some of them. Okay, so they translated 4 units to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 units down. Next one, they're going to translate 6 units to the right and then 4 units up. And another translation. And then we're going to move on to rotation. Now this time we're going to be rotating. We'll be rotating around the origin, although you can rotate around any point, but this one's around the origin using a formula. So they've got points here, and they've got side lengths for their new triangle. So they're going to rotate counterclockwise, which means their new figure is going to be down here in quadrant 3, 90 degrees. So they're going to take each point and use the formula negative yx. So if the first point is -1, 2, it's now going to be -2, -1 for the new figure. I just changed my y coordinate. It's going first, and it's going to be negative, and then your x coordinate would be second. So instead of negative 1, 2, it's going to be negative 2, negative 1. And they're going to use that formula for all 3 points. So this one, negative 1, 4, is now going to be negative 4, negative 1. And then negative 3, 2 will be negative 2, negative 3. Now they have the lines for their triangle. If your students are a little bit more advanced, you might want to just turn these, make them all straight so the students have to figure out where they go. So all you do is just click on these little blue circles. You can make it shorter, you can make it longer, and you can pivot it. So you might want to do that to make it a little bit more difficult for the students. But if they're struggling, you might want to leave it like it is. So we're just going to close in those 3 points. And I'm just going to move this so that they're connected. So again, I'm just click and hold, and then I move it where I want. And now I have my new figure. It's been rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. So we're going to do the same thing on the next one. This time we're going to rotate clockwise 90 degrees, which means this figure is going to be over here in quadrant 3 because we're moving clockwise. And again, we're going to take each point using the formula y negative x. So for example, this one is 2, negative 1. It's now going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 1, negative 2 to put it over here. So it'd be right here. The next figure, we're going to, let's see. I think we're missing one. Let's see. Okay. So this one, we're going to rotate 180 degrees, which would put it in the opposite quadrant. So it's going to be in quadrant 4. Again, we're going to take each one of these points and change it using this formula. Now, all of the slides are done on here for the teacher, so there's a teacher copy in case you're not sure. And then this final slide on rotation, we're going to be doing 3 rotations from this figure. So it shows you the formula for each one, 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to be using these different colored points and different colored sides to show that. Then we move on to dilation. Dilation means we're going to scale up or scale down. The figure is going to keep its shape, but it's going to increase or decrease by a scale factor. So this one, if we're increasing by a scale factor of 2, it's increasing because it's a whole number. We're going to take each one of these points and multiply it by 2. So the point 1, 1 would now be 2, 2. The point 1, negative 1 would now be 2, negative 2. And so on. And then we're just going to use the lines to fill in that figure. The next one, they're increasing by a scale factor of 3. So we're going to take each one of those points, multiply the coordinates by 3. And then if the scale factor is a fraction less than 1, that means it's going to be smaller. You're going to scale down. And if it's a scale factor of 1/2, you're just taking each of the coordinates and dividing by 2. And then the final slide where we're going to be showing a transformation is they're going to translate 5 units to the left and then reflect over the x-axis. So a little bit of a challenge, 2 transformations. And then they get vocabulary. So they're just going to click and hold on each one of these, move them into the correct place in the sentence frames. Just as a review of all 4 transformations.